I need to have a think. What are we doing this morning? Oh, of course. Posterior hip and sciatic pain is there on the agenda for today. So basically, as always, that is the areas that we're targeting. So it's going to be groin, glutes. So adductors and glutes basically. Again, as always, if you are having problems, like proper problems with those areas, this may help ease or even over time fix it. As I keep saying to people, it's not a case of you do half an hour's mobility class and that's you forever, you're good to go. It's going to take time. If you're having problems, if you're finding a lot of pain and discomfort in these areas, it's going to take a bit of time to get rid of it. So invest the time, okay? Like I say, I'm teaching you a few things today. Some of them we've already done. If you feel that there's a lot of tacked up, horrible, tied up tissue and pain in a certain area, 2 minutes on it each day, 2 minutes on it randomly is enough to see improvement. It doesn't have to be a half-hour dedicated mobility class. So if there is a key area that needs work with you, and again, you're going to learn more as you go, get stuck into it randomly, throw it in, okay? It doesn't have to be this full routine. Again, if you are having severe problems, get them sorted, go to somebody, go to a professional. Not me, I'm not a professional, I just make up as I go along. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. So posterior hip, all posterior hip is, it's just the back of your hip, everybody. So glutes pretty much. All we're going to do is get this ball, we're going to sit on it. If you've been keeping up, you know that we've done the one on the foam roller. Well, it's the same idea, except this time we're using this nasty little piece of thing. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't try and target a specific part of your glutes. Just shove it in your, well, don't shove it in your glutes. Shove it in your butt. Sit on it. Find an area. Stop laughing at me here. It's all coming out wrong this morning, isn't it? Don't shove it in your butt. Sit on it. Dear me, it started already. Don't try to overcomplicate this, everybody, okay? All you're looking for is pain. You're looking for a painful area and you're doing the usual techniques. Putting pressure on it, as much pressure as you can handle. Start trying to move the leg around on it and just trying to break up that tissue. That's all we're trying to do. Don't make it complicated. Don't try and put it on a specific part of your glutes. So what we're looking for is more around this area here, okay? I don't want you to go high up on the high glute because that's going to be the next one. Remember the high glute one we do with our feet elevated, where we're lying on the ball? So all I want you to do is just position it on the outer glute area, which is pretty much the outer butt cheek, but not too far out. All I need you to do is pretty simple. Just sit on it. Get weight on it. And just start, honestly, I'm pretty confident unless you do this stuff regular, you won't have to move around before you start finding pain, okay? So I'm not applying too much weight yet. I'm just kind of rolling around. As soon as I find an area, oh, there we go. As soon as I find an area, yep, I can see some faces looking pretty sick already. I've found an area, okay? So what do? You already know what to do, unless of course you're new to this. I'm going to start relaxing, that's first thing. You're going to find because there's pain on that area, your body's going to want to fight it a wee bit. So you want to make sure, and I talk to you live as I'm on a very painful spot, you want to make sure you're relaxed. The muscle is not contracting at all, and that's where you will need to have to put a bit of thought into it. Now I'm putting pressure on here now, and I'm imagining the glutes are just wrapping themselves around this ball, okay? It's pretty nasty. Now, here's a word of warning. If you know if you find a painful spot, okay, if you find a painful spot, make sure you're actually on the dead center of it. Don't wince and go off to the side and put all your weight on there. Yep, I know. Get on it, okay? Now, we're only going to be spending 5 minutes a cheek, okay? So 5 minutes per glute here. So please make the most of it, okay? It's no use if you're just kind of sitting on it going, oh, this is quite uncomfortable, but I dare not go that way because it'll be hellish. It has to be hellish. Now remember, don't travel up towards your actual pelvic bone. Don't travel too high up because the high glutes is where we're going to go next. Now, don't just roll around on it aimlessly. Remember, it's going to take longer than one mobility class to get round the whole glutes, so it's a bookmark case. Spend time on an area. Don't move on from that area. I'm trying to keep a straight face here and I won't lie to you, it's blooming hard. Try to spend as long a time on that area and see an improvement. Don't just keep moving around, okay? So now I'm holding this spot. This is where we can start using different techniques. So I can start moving the leg around. Yep, I can start pulling the knee up while putting all that pressure on that area. Again, you can't see the ball really, but it's pretty obvious what I'm doing. And then I can bring the leg across. Okay, so I can bring that leg across, which is going to open up those glutes completely. and start getting as much weight on that pressure spot as I can. And it's nasty, everybody, it's nasty. There's no lying about it, but you know this by now. It's not meant to be nasty, it's not meant to be painful, but unfortunately, we don't spend too much time doing this stuff, so you can try and just break up the tissue, get on it, get as much weight on there as you can. Yep. Now, remember the pressure sequence, we're trying to put pressure on there, we're trying to break it up. Okay, and then we can smash and floss it as we speak. So that is a case of me moving my leg around. Okay, straightening it out while holding that spot. And don't forget, finally, the contract and relax. So squeeze the butt cheeks, relax the butt cheeks. Squeeze the butt cheeks, relax the butt cheeks while you're holding that pressure spot. You with us? On live, you feeling this? Is it good? It's not good, is it? It's horrible. But you're with me. Now please, remember, I can't say it enough, it's about the quality of the time you're investing here. If you're just doing it half-arsed, and you're not putting too much weight on it, and you're not really getting into it, you're not getting a lot from it, okay? So again, everybody's different. You're going to find your own little places that are sore. We're only going to spend another minute on this, so please, make the most of it. And like I keep saying to you, don't just keep rolling around on the ball. That might feel good, it might feel like you're doing something, but we're not spending enough time on the problem area. There's multiple problem areas, probably. And again, it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but I am. I'm putting lots of pressure on here. I'm increasing the pressure. I'm squeezing and relaxing my glutes. Squeezing and relaxing. And I'm moving that leg around. And then once I start to feel an improvement on the area that I'm on, right, okay, I can get much more weight on here. Still uncomfortable, but I'm getting much more weight on it than when I started. So it's obviously there's an improvement. So then I'd move on to another area, okay? I can't say it enough. People will just get on this, same with the foam roller, and just roll around going, oh, that's horrible, it must be doing something, okay? It's not, well, it is. It's doing something better than nothing, but it's not enough. Right, relax there. I want you to stand up. Okay, now I appreciate I'm going to have to go all the way back here, but it doesn't really matter. I want you to stand up, and I want you to squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the glutes as hard as you can, okay, as if you're trying to crack a walnut between your cheeks. Okay, now if you've done a good job here, just by spending 5 minutes, you should feel that the cheek that you've just spent all that time foam rolling, you should be able to feel like that's got a lot more power in it. You should feel almost like the one you've been working on is contracting harder than the left. Not prominently, like you're not going to be feeling it crazy, but you should feel that the one we've just worked on is now unlocked a bit of power on it, okay? So if you're feeling that, that's a good indication that you've just spent a good bit of time. 5 minutes on each cheek is all it takes to see an improvement. That's the point I'm getting at. If you were just aimlessly rolling about on that ball, not really putting much weight or effort into it, you probably didn't feel anything there. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to my other side, so let that be a lesson. Again, I want you to avoid going here. Don't go too high up onto the pelvis, okay, because that's our high glute area and that's the next target area. I want you on the actual cheek itself, but more towards the outer area, okay? So I don't want you to go too far out. I don't want you to go too far in. God, I'm struggling with my words this morning. Right, okay, and again, the way I like to do any area is just do exactly what I tell you not to do for the long haul, and that's just roll around on it. So I'm not doing it aimlessly, I'm rolling around and I'm starting to identify little problem areas. So by not putting too much weight on, right, there's one there, that's nasty, there was one out there, there's one further down. Okay, so then you know your little problem areas now that you need to work on. So I've got it, okay? And again, before you start putting maximum weight on it, play around with as you start putting the weight on the area, just to make sure that you are indeed on the dead center. Okay, so we don't want to be off to the side of it. We want to be on the most horrible center of that spot where all the pain and discomfort is. So again, for this first part, I'm setting all my weight onto it. Okay, so there we go, all the weight's on it and it's nasty, it's horrible. However, I'm focusing on my breathing, I'm staying relaxed, and as a result, my glutes are disengaged. Okay, so my glutes are just wrapping around this ball. The muscle tissue is completely relaxed around it. It's not nice, but remember, if you're fighting it a little bit and that muscle tissue isn't completely relaxed, we're not getting the best out of it. So now to take it to the next level, I'm going to start lifting this knee up. Okay, and what that's going to do is put much more weight on that ball. Oh my word, and It's going to put much more weight on the ball, but it's also going to open up the glutes. Okay, it's going to lengthen them out. All while keeping the pressure on that spot. Now again, you have to try and put as much into this as you can, everybody. Okay, move around on it, on that center, on that area that's problematic, and you're getting all that mashed up, horrible tissue. And like I say, the more pain and discomfort that you can handle, the more you're going to get out of this. It's not nice, I know it's not. So now that I'm on it, I've definitely got the pressure on. Okay, now I can do the contract, relax. So squeeze the butt like I'm at the top of a glute bridge, and then relax it. Squeeze it, and then relax it. Okay, and again, once you feel an improvement on that area, as in it's not as painful, like already I'm feeling I can put a lot more weight onto it. Still not nice, but it's definitely nowhere near as bad as it was when I first started. And that's what we should be getting. And that's where you need to be putting the work in, everybody. So again, now I'm holding this spot still. I can start lifting the leg up. I can start, there's no right or wrong, okay? Okay, I don't want you to feel like you have to lift it up a certain angle. It's pretty obvious when you're moving that leg around what you're trying to achieve and what you are achieving by doing so. Okay, so now I'll be honest, I'm quite surprised at myself, but I'm feeling an improvement on that area. So I know if I go a wee bit further out before, that I felt before when I was rolling around, oh yeah, there we go, there's another one. So don't be surprised if you get multiple areas of pain and discomfort within here. So there's a lot. The glutes are doing a lot. Big powerful muscle group, okay? But then also we're sat in our butts. We're sat in our butts an awful lot these days. I don't speak for you personally, but I speak for us all. How dare I? What gives me such a right? But so think about what you're doing when you're sat in your butt, okay? You're just crushing into this muscle tissue. It's all getting mashed up and it loses that nice pliability, okay? That ability for the muscle tissue to be able to just glide freely. That's why we got a lot of tacked down horrible areas that we're experiencing now. Okay, so we're going to give it another minute. So whatever spot you're on, lost it there. Whatever spot you're on, get stuck onto it. Make the most of this. And again, a lot of the time the blunt pain and discomfort you get from this is enough to make you feel like you're going to barf. Okay? But you probably won't, but then it's not far off of it. And that's the kind of pain and discomfort we should be feeling. Blunt, isolated pain, okay, on the area that I'm pressing. Okay, if your toes are starting to flick around and you're getting shooting pains traveling down your legs, that's obviously not what we're trying to get at here. Pretty much common sense, I would like to think. Okay, mash it up, get up. What? Do it again, stand up, engage your glutes. So I'm standing up, squeeze the butt as hard as you can. Okay, by working on that for 5 minutes a cheek, even 2 minutes if you're in a rush, okay, what we've done there is managed to unlock power, unlock strength in the glutes, the contraction ability of the glutes, just from rolling on that ball and freeing up some of that tied up tissue. So I don't really need to explain the benefits of that, do I? Okay, if your muscles are able to contract harder and better, you're getting more power out of them just by rolling on a ball for 5 minutes. Pretty good, eh? Pretty good, I would say. Time well invested. So we're going to move on to the high glute, everybody. So before you start, some of you will be familiar with this one. So all we're doing is we're smashing up the areas responsible for pain around the back of your hips. And when I say back of the hips, that's any area around the back of the hips into the glutes further down, okay? So what we're looking at here now is we're still doing the glutes, but we're going higher up. Now, if you sit here like this just now and you jam that ball in, you'll feel the pelvis running up, okay? You'll feel that bone. We're going on the underside of it, okay? So we're running under the border of that pelvis, okay? And you'll feel it, you'll feel all that tack tissue. So remember, we're not going on the spine. We're starting just to the outside of it, and we're going to be working our way from inside to out, okay? So that's important, keep an eye on it. We're starting here, we're going to find any areas, work on it until we get out to here. We're only going to be spending a couple minutes on each side, so don't be surprised if you don't manage to get all the way to the outer hip. We find an area that's problematic, we spend as much time on it as we need, okay? So let's go for it. You're going to need a bench. This is where everybody on live now runs away, but you can hit the pause button. This bench wasn't sitting here by coincidence, it's here because we need it. So what I'm going to do now is get my legs up. You can put them up on the sofa, anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be an exact height. Now, the purpose of this is, it's going to push more weight down on the ball. But more importantly, I've talked about it before, my lower back. You shouldn't be able to get your hands underneath your lower back. If you can arch your back up and put your hands underneath it, that's what we call overextension of the lower back, okay, the lumbar spine. So if you lie flat before you put the ball on, you shouldn't be able to get your hands underneath. But if you arch your back, and do that now, please, get your hands underneath. That's what we call overextension. I want you to identify what that is so you know what it is, because we do not want that to happen. Are you happy? So now I'm going to jam the ball right into the side of the spine at the area I just showed you, below the pelvis bone, okay? And as soon as you start putting weight on it, you'll start to feel that pelvis, okay? And it's just in the underside of it, right onto the high glute area that we're putting it. Now, like I said, obviously I'm now elevated because I'm sitting on the ball. So yes, I'm going to get my hands underneath, but make sure that that lower back is not arched, okay? So you might have to engage the core. Look, if you can wind yourself, you've not engaged the core. So there should be a wee bit of tension on the core, okay? And that's going to stop our back arching, okay? Because we don't want that. So now what am I doing? Now I showed you before, I've got the ball position just off to the side of my spine, okay? And now I'm just going to rock back and forward, slowly working my way from inside to the outside of my hip. As soon as I find a sore spot, and I'm just getting on one now, what do I do? Okay, what do I do? I found a sore spot, I stay on it, okay? I make sure I'm on the dead center of it, as in the most uncomfortable spot. And now I'm trying to push down as hard as I can into that ball without letting my lower back arch. Okay, so again, you might need to some degree engage the core. So this is a nasty one also, okay? For most people, you'll probably find most of the tacked down tissue is more towards the outer part. Okay, I would say I'm about center of the way between my spine and the outside of my hip. Now, I'm getting the pressure on there, okay? And again, rock it side to side, back and forward while staying on that spot, okay? Trying to break it up, trying to get as much weight on it as you can. Contract, squeeze the butt as if you're at the top of a glute bridge, relax the butt. Squeeze the butt, relax the butt, contract, relax, okay? That's what that is. Now, for the smashing and flossing version in this, it's a simple case of, I'm on my pressure spot, it's pretty nasty, I'm going to stay relaxed, but I'm going to bring my knee up. Hot, disgusting. I'm going to bring it out to the side. Even worse was that, I'm hitting my foam roller. Okay, I'm going to bring it out to the side, and I'm going to move it around, so there's no right or wrong. While I'm holding that pressure spot, just by moving this leg around, it's going to help just smash it out all the more, okay? And there's no right or wrong, other than trying to make it feel like you're doing some good. And again, once you feel a little bit of an improvement, move along a bit, start working back from out. So I've started just off to the side of my spine, and again, you need to kind of roll backwards and forwards on the ball, everybody, because you don't want it traveling too far down your glutes. But then with this sequence today, we don't want it going above the pelvis, because if it goes above the pelvis, that's us then going into the realms of the lower back. And that's not what today's about. This is the high glute area we're in now. So again, as you start to go further out the hips, you'll find that you can just lean into the ball a wee bit more, okay? So that's me, I've got another one, another nasty spot. We're just gonna do a couple minutes each side, okay? So it's about getting a bit of quality time on it, as in making the most of the time. It doesn't have to be long, okay? So again, move the leg around while you're on that spot, and again, just always make sure that you're actually dead set on that spot, on the most painful area. Just try and break it up. There's no right or wrong. The right or wrong is just aimlessly rolling backwards and forwards, and or just lying there with not that much pressure on it because it feels all right, okay? You know how this works now. You need to get stuck into it for it to be effective, okay? And it's pretty nasty. Now, again, if you're getting pain or tightness in the lower back, we're spending time on the high glute here. So by freeing up and loosening off some of the tissue in the high glute, we're going to feed that upstream to our lower back, aren't we? So our lower back's going to be loose a wee bit more from this, so it's going to benefit it. And then what's further down? Our glutes themselves. So we're going to free up some more looseness. That is not what we're trying to do. Okay, we're going to free up some of that slack and push it downstream as well to our glutes. So up to the side and downstream is what's getting the benefit from doing the target area also. We're going to change everybody. So again, there's no need for you to stand up. I'm just going to jam it, so I'm glute bridging up, and I'm just going to put it, so you might need to use your hands a wee bit to move the ball around to get it right, but remember, it is not on my spine, so keep it away from that tailbone. We don't want to be doing that. And if I rock back and forward, you should feel the bone of the pelvis. That's the area we're working on, okay? Not the bone, but just bordering underneath it. Okay, so as you're moving from inside to outside, just make sure you don't end up traveling too high or too low. You should just always be able to feel yourself running along the border of that pelvis. Now I'm putting them up. I'm making sure again that my lower back isn't arched, okay? So I don't want it to be overextending back the way. So that means I might have to engage my core a wee bit. Okay, so at no point should I feel like my back is arching. And now please, I urge you, because I know people will be guilty of it, just lying there on a spot that feels slightly uncomfortable, but all right. It's not good enough, okay? You want to see improvement, you're here, you want to invest your time wisely, you need to get stuck into it, okay? So you need to go looking for these nasty spots, and as soon as you find one, you just need to get in it, okay? Get stuck into it, get the pressure on, push down into it without arching the lower back, okay? Rock it, move around on it, okay? But keep it isolated on that problem area. Don't go rocking around in a huge circle. You want to stay on that problem area. And then, like I say, you can start doing the footwork. So do the footwork, moving the leg around. So lift the knee up, move it out. Oh my word. Okay, and just trying to break up that tissue. And like I say, it's awful. Probably awful. Some people might not be, but I certainly am. So I'm not in a rush. I didn't get all the way out to the outside hip on the other side, okay? I know I'm not gonna. I know I've got a fair few problem areas to work through, so rather than rush through them, I'm gonna try and work my hardest to see an improvement on one area, possibly two in that space of time. So another minute or two and we'll be done on this. Okay, so flying through it, it's just about a half-hour session, everybody, okay? That's all the target mobility needs to be. I want people to keep focused. Again, I'm highlighting problem areas. So I'm highlighting the posterior hip or sciatic pain as the problem. That doesn't mean to say you have to have that to be doing this, okay? I don't have pain in the back of any of these areas, as in day to day, but I know that my glutes and my adductors need this work done to them, okay? We're keeping on top of it. We're maintaining our bodies. It's not enough to just keep hammering exercise. It's just going to set us back if we don't keep on top of this. And like I said, and like I demoed, relax here, everybody. Think of how much you're missing out on your body's potential by not doing this stuff, okay? Because again, if you squeeze the glutes, you should feel like you're getting a much more positive and solid contraction of the glutes, okay? Just from doing this stuff, okay? So think of just how much your body's really underperforming because it's not at its best and how much better it could be, okay? Now, if that isn't a motivation for you, then my time is wasted, okay? My time is wasted on you. But like I say, the people who need to do it are probably never going to watch this anyway, let's be honest. They're probably out doing another 20-mile run, moaning about their bad hip or something like that at the end of it. Okay, right, adductors. The adductors, the groin, they've forgotten about muscles. Everybody focuses on their quads, their hamstrings, their glutes. They forget that big muscle group that runs in there that's responsible for stabilizing yourself and a lot of different movement patterns that we do. You always hear me harp on about how people's groin's tight, okay? It's not just tight, okay? It's not just flexibility, remember, it's mobility. So we need to, and this is where probably for a lot of people, if there was ever one you were going to be sick on, this is probably going to be it, okay? Especially those who squat regular, who squat heavy regular, you'll find these muscles are just needing a good bit of work done on them. Now, there's no way about it, everybody. It's not a dignified position, so if you're doing it live, just be wary of your camera angle, but I'll not be looking. So what I need you to do is you're lying flat, okay? So it's pretty obvious. We need to get in at the groin area, don't we? So you're going to have to lie in your front. So it's a case of getting the knee. Right, so we're going to start, before I lie down, we're starting from here, yep, and we're going to be rolling all the way up, deep into the groin. Okay, so you're going to have to manipulate your knee and move yourself around a wee bit to get stuck in there. But it's pretty obvious, again, what you need to do when you start doing it. We're getting my knee on it, okay, and I'm lying flat, pretty much out my front. So straight away, when you do that, a lot of people will probably feel that pain. Okay, I'll move around and show you what I'm doing, but you can see, it's pretty easy, pretty obvious what I'm trying to do. And again, for the most part, everybody, we do it on feel. So you'll find that you're riding that muscle and you'll have to manipulate and move your body around it, okay? So I'm like this. I'm going to move off to the other side. That's probably a better one thinking about it. So, got the foam roller, got my leg out 90 degrees roughly, jammed the foam roller in there. Okay, now straight away, I'm starting to put weight on that. I can feel it, okay? Most people will. So now all I'm going to do is, again, start working along that grain of muscle. If you find a problem area, and I guarantee most of you will probably start feeling it straight away just as you start moving away from, yep, we do, good. Now, don't just aimlessly roll, remember? So I am feeling it. So I want to try and get more weight up on there. So I'm going to get up onto my elbows, okay, and that's going to let me bridge and put more weight down. Remember, that muscle group has to be relaxed. I don't care how uncomfortable it is. Now what I want you to do as you're starting to work along is I want you to try and get your kneecap, which is probably pointing towards, away from you just now. I want you to try and start to twist the knee towards the ground, okay? Which is going to have a kind of what we would call a shearing effect. It's going to start getting that muscle and starting to twist it around the foam roller, okay? But we have to do that while we're staying relaxed, which you can see by my face and the sweat that's starting to bead in my forehead. It's no easy, right? Now this is nasty. It's a nasty one. I hate this one, but again, if we hate it and it's horrible, we need it. We need it more than any. Now, please remember, we're not rushing to just do the full length of the muscle group. Okay, I'm trying to work my way through the muscle group, working along the grain of the tissue, looking for problem areas. Now, as I start moving further up my leg towards my groin, that's when you're really going to be able to start moving that knee round. Okay, so I want you to try this knee, trying to twist it round the foam roller towards the ground. Okay, and like I say, what that'll do is really crush that muscle into the foam roller, which is what we're trying to do. Now remember, I'm on a pressure spot. When we're on the glutes, it's pretty easy, isn't it? We can move the leg around, we can squeeze the butt and relax the butt, so it's pretty easy, that one. However, this one, what do? It's not quite as easy, is it? So this is where I want you to get it on your pressure spot. Everybody I'm sure's found one by now. You can contract the muscle, so contract it now, tense it, relax it. Tense it and relax. Why are we up? Why are we up? Get back down on the foam roller. Hurry up. Stop farting about. So contract and relax, but see when you relax, you'll find that your muscle is able to just sink into it a bit more. So each time you relax, you'll probably feel it gets a little bit worse. Okay, now how do we do the smash and floss? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? How could we possibly smash and floss it? Start, this is where you're going to see me pass out. Start bringing that knee up, yep, bring the knee up, stay on your pressure spot, stay relaxed, bring the knee up. Don't bring the knee up, bring the foot up, should I say. Straighten it back out. Okay, while we're on that spot. Yeah, you with us? Anybody passed out? Anybody been sick yet? Anybody going a little bit white? Again, some people might be on this and there'll be nothing wrong, but I'm pretty confident if you exercise regular and you haven't been keeping on top of your adductors, your groin, then you're going to be feeling this. Okay, now I'm going to speed it up a wee bit so that some of you can see. Okay, so now I'm pretty much halfway up towards the groin itself, so I'm halfway up the muscle group. This is where I want you to start trying. You can see what I'm doing with my leg there. I'm trying to twist it around. Again, that's going to have that kind of horrible shearing effect on the foam roller that you'll feel. The muscles getting really stuck into it, yep. And again, that's when I can start lifting the foot up to smash and floss that area. Play around with the angle, but chances are if you lift it up, okay, now please everybody, I know it's not nice for a lot of people, but we've got to get stuck into this. So important. Groin especially. How many people can't squat properly because they can't open up their knees wide enough because the groin's tight? Okay, and it's not just a case of flexibility. Remember, flexibility is the muscle's ability to lengthen through a range of movement. Okay, if the muscle itself is all jammed up, no amount of stretching is really going to help that. Okay, so I'm going to say we're going to spend another 30 seconds on here. So most of the problem area, you probably won't find too much pain right deep in the groin, okay? But you might. Everybody's different. But yeah, people don't bother their butt with the adductors, the groin. I just call it the groin because it's easier. We don't all go around going, oh, my adductors are so tight. It gets forgotten about. We always concern ourselves with what's front and behind. We never really bother our arse with what's side to side, which kind of, you know, it's probably another life lesson in there somewhere as well. But we'll keep that. We'll keep that for another time. Right, okay, everybody, get yourself moving on to the other side. I think it's probably just better if I show you this angle because you can't really see anything else for the other. So again, most people will probably be feeling pain from here on inwards. And then as we start to get closer in, maybe not so much. But again, everybody's different. So again, I'm changing sides. Bookmark, okay? Chances are you didn't get the full length of your adductors there. If you found a lot of pain and discomfort in your adductors, 2 minutes each side, once a day, once every so often is better than nothing. Get stuck into it. Remember where you got to and pick up where you left off. Because again, otherwise, you know, we could end up turning this into a 2-hour class. But the idea is, I'm showing you, we're spending enough time on it, we're spending more than enough time on it to get a big difference made. But I'm also going through it quick enough for you to pick stuff up. Because like I say, you'll probably start thinking about all the different sessions we've been doing. There's always one maybe that we do in each session that you do and you think, God, that one was awful. And that might be different person to person. So again, I'm starting to work up the inside of my leg. Oh, and it's nasty. It's nasty on this side, I tell you that for nothing. Okay. So no matter how painful it is, everyone, you've got to try and relax that muscle. And I know it's not easy. If some of you are really feeling this, and I won't lie to you, I am. You've got to try and relax the weight onto it. Try and suck it up. Okay. The pain that you're feeling, just try to take it in. Try to relax into it. Focus on your breathing. And again, it's not pleasant. And as I start coming round, I'm trying to twist that knee round so that I'm getting that shearing, horrible, crushing effect on that foam roller, okay? Getting more from it, and it's no easy. It's really no easy. So I've got a lot of jammed up horribleness. We'll make that word up because it's an appropriate one today. And around this area, and that's when I'm going to start now making it even worse for myself because, you know, I can't. So I've got a lot of pain, a lot of jammed up tissue tacked down here. So now I'm just going to try and smash it out, floss it out, using this technique. You can see of just trying to hold that pressure spot with as much weight as I can. And again, I don't move from it until I feel an improvement, until I feel a marked improvement and there's not as much pain. I'm not going to, if it's bad, okay, if there's a lot of work to be done, you're not going to cure it in one day, but you should be able to feel an improvement. As in, well, I can get much more weight on this. It's still pretty painful, but I can get more weight on it than I could when I started. So again, I'm working my way along the length of the muscle, twisting that knee round. Again, it won't look like I am, okay? Obviously my knee isn't twisted round because I'm not far enough up my groin yet for it to happen, but I'm imagining it and I'm trying it, which is applying more pressure and tension onto that foam roller. Okay, and that's what's getting that shear across as I go. Okay, and I've not even really moved, I won't lie to you, I've not moved that far away from the knee here. But that's where I'm getting most of my pain. You might be different, you might not be. But again, for most people, we're probably all in the same boat to some degree. For most of us that haven't been keeping on top of this stuff or ever done it before. Okay. Okay, last bit of work, everyone. And again, you can just, for the last few seconds, just roll the full length of the muscle right into the groin and see if you can identify problem areas for next time. Okay, so foam rolling the full length. This is what people do wrong, okay? This is what people would do for a normal foam rolling session. Just roll backwards and roll forwards, okay? We're not really doing much on that, I'm afraid. Okay, it feels nasty maybe, it feels good, but we're not getting enough time on it. So, just foam rolling the full length, you'll be able to feel exactly where the work needs to be done for next time. Right, everybody, believe it or not, that is us done. That was quite a long session. Even though you might be in a lot of pain, hopefully you got out what you needed to. More than anything, if it's the first time you've done those areas, it's probably just highlighted how much work you've got ahead of you. Okay, so if you do get problem areas, as in you do get problems in those areas, as in any sort of pain, keep doing it. But even if you don't, like I say, I don't have any problems in those areas, but lying on that, I realise that I do. Okay, we need to spend a lot more work. There shouldn't be pain when we're doing all this stuff, but that's the end goal. Okay, that is the end goal. And if you're like me, we're a long way away from that end goal. Okay, but then you'll also find, just like I keep saying about mobility and flexibility, it's never a battle you win. It's a battle that you can keep on top of. Okay, but it's a constant battle, especially if you're exercising and pushing your body hard. But again, today's lesson is just how much better your body could be performing just from spending 2 minutes on each side of whatever is feeling a little bit tight, a little bit aching, a little bit sore. You're going to unlock a lot more of your body's potential just from doing that. Like I keep saying, it doesn't have to be a 45-minute mobility class for it to be effective. It could be 2 minutes on each side of whatever problem area you're getting, okay? Just say to yourself, you know what, those glutes were awful. Okay, I am getting a wee bit of tightness in my lower back, etc. I'm going to throw that in, 2 minutes each side. And then see tomorrow, I remember my calves, they were awful. I'm going to do them 2 minutes each side. It's not a lot to ask. It's realizing that that is effective and that's all you need to make a difference. It doesn't have to be all put together into a mobility class. Purpose of these are for people who are having problems in these areas. I've just been working through problem areas recently, but we will go into maybe more kind of target whole areas as such. But right now we've just been focusing on any problem areas people have been getting and trying to do things to make them better. Okay, but most of us and all of us will probably benefit from them anyway. That is us. Thank you very much. I'm done talking. Have a good day.